We know that our little friend Amy the amygdala loves to tell doom and gloom stories of fear. And if we're living within a state of ongoing vulnerability, such as chronic pain or illness or trauma, then she just jumps on board and becomes our primary narrator. We've been talking a lot about this. Now, when it comes to pain, there's actually a term for the pain stories that our amygdala loves to tell. It's called pain catastrophizing. Yes, catastrophizing, catastrophic. These are those stories that our brain starts to tell us about all of those worst case things that could happen if we go out and participate in the world when we're experiencing pain, or if we're in the recovery process from pain and start to generate a story of nervousness or fear around re-injury. Very counterintuitively, but much like Amy's usual line of work, the experiences work against us. So, just like if we have social anxiety, Amy would much prefer that we simply stay home rather than risk being rejected. If we're experiencing pain, Amy would much prefer that we curl up on the sofa and protect our body from further harm rather than getting up and stretching, going for a walk, or even, goodness gracious, heading out the door and going to our doctor's appointments sometimes. She's deeply protective of us, and her best form of protection is to keep us really small and closed in on ourselves. And then she'll tell us looping stories of all of the worst things that could happen if we were to dare venture out into the world and risk the possibility of being re injured or being hurt even more. I'm hoping you can see the parallels between emotional pain and physical pain. Because again, Amy doesn't really differentiate between the two. She uses the same patterns of information processing to navigate both experiences. The difference with pain specifically is that she anchors more deeply into the body to send up greater levels of flares and physical reactivity that go in alignment with the pain story that she's telling us. What that results in is a deeper experience of physical pain on your back, in your stomach, if you have a headache, whatever it might be, that further reinforces the pain narrative and keeps us even more disconnected and tense, stressed out, anxious, and ultimately our body more inflamed rather than moving into the deep space of relaxation and agency that we want to be in to ultimately heal our mind and our body. So if you notice an Amy doom and gloom story popping up when you're experiencing pain, that is what pain catastrophizing is all about. Your little amygdala is seeking to keep you safe. And when that happens, I invite you to immediately do a little CPR for the amygdala, play some brain games, use that mindful touch, and calm her down. Wrap her in a warm, fuzzy blanket. Then notice, oh, Amy's telling me a story right now because she's scared. And that language is really important. Amy is telling me a story. Then check in on what is your self story? What do you know about your healing journey? What have you learned from these videos, from your doctors, from your therapists as you're moving through your recovery process? And is that data different from Amy's data? Do some fact checking. And if it is different, go, Amy, I appreciate your information. Give her some gratitude and some self compassion, and choose to do the hard thing that you know is best for your recovery journey. But again, that can be hard to do, and that's where that CPR for the amygdala is really critical in helping your brain and body calm down. And of course, going to give you a guided meditation that you can always just save that video and rewatch it as many times as you need to, so that when Amy sends up that flare, you can openly say, I love you. Thank you for keeping me safe. And we need to go do this so that we can live our best, most empowered life. Happy healing. I'll see you soon.